and welcome back, everyone, to the Cup of Joe with Joe and Joe podcast episode numero ocho. Go! Beautiful. For all you non-German speaking people out there, that was 8. Thank you very much. I'm here, as always, with my lovable and wonderful co-host, Joe.
Ah, that's good coffee. Good night, Glenside.
Yes, good night, Glenside, indeed. Anyone who is listening to this after the fact, or currently, I don't know if anyone's going to tune in a second, but we are not at a normal time.
Really? I didn't notice.
Yeah, it's a really, 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 really overcast day outside. Very overcast. And also 9:20 p.m.
That could have a factor.
That could have a factor in it, yeah. We had a couple of, we're busy bees. We're busy bee boys.
The Joes are busy being Joes.
Busy bee boys. It's like
It's
like the Cool Kids Club, except with all bees and not racist in any way.
I was gonna say the Big Baller brand, but then I'm like, Joe doesn't know sports.
No, I don't know anything about that. That either sounds like a sports thing or a complete that sounds like a Will Ferrell comedy.
It's not good.
It's not good. Okay, then we'll just
really
leave it at that. But we're busy bee boys, and we've got a lot going on. So we figured it'd be best if we did a nice recording of an episode for you all tonight, and then y'all can listen to it either tomorrow during the normal time if you were tuning in and you're feeling a little like withdrawals of Cup of Joe.
I know most people do.
Yeah, I know. I know.
We've gotten multiple emails we're requesting for a 3 episode a week quota, and
3 episode a week quota. We can't.
I love the enthusiasm. I really do.
Dude, if we could.
But I also like my free time that I don't have. But
I was gonna say, you don't have free time. Who are you kidding? If we had time to do this multiple 3 times, say it was like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday sort of a thing, would you want to be doing this podcast Wednesday, Friday? Just slurring all my words. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
I don't know. I like it once a week.
You like it once a week?
I like it once a week.
I'd be down for maybe a twice a week sort of a thing. I don't know if cause yeah, I feel like I'd enjoy 3 times a week in the beginning, and then get to the point where it's like, what do we talk about? And then it'd just be weird bits like Logan for 3 hours.
And that's the type of quality and quantity that people want.
Yeah, exactly. Once a week is good. I also like it because it gives me the hunger to come back and do it.
Yeah,
I'm
gives you the build
it's been
up.
a week. I wanna do it.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I wanna do it. Okay. So as I bang on everything to a rhythmic beat.
So are we talking about global warming today?
Absolutely. You know us, the podcast that's always about science, ecology, and politics. 100% of the time, never. So no, we're not talking about global warming.
Can we talk about global warming next week?
If you really want to, yes. I guess I will purposefully skip the podcast that week. Joe couldn't make it. He had some other things to attend to.
Global warming killed him.
Yeah, there we go. That's how you can bring it up. Just global warming killed me. But real quick, right before we get into any of the meat and potatoes of this here episode, meat and potatoes.
Dude, I haven't had meat and potatoes in a while.
I haven't had potatoes in a while. I had meat today.
You don't like potatoes?
I do like. I'm okay with potatoes. I used to not like them because I thought they were really bland and stupid.
You don't like baked potatoes?
No, I'm not a fan of baked potatoes.
I love a good baked
especially
potato.
a sweet baked potato. If there's
you don't like sweet potatoes?
No, I'm not a big fan of sweet potatoes. I find the combination of the starchiness and the sweetness, I'm just nah. I
never had a sweet potato casserole?
My wonderful mother has probably made one a time or two, for dinner for our family, and I've probably just been a stingy little bitch and put my nose up to it and just be like, no.
Are we allowed to say bitch on the radio?
I mean, we've just said it twice. Let's just keep moving on. If anything, we'll just
let's
knock down the door.
I'm pretty sure you weren't allowed to, but now you can.
That's America for you, baby. That's freedom right there.
Vote for Bernie Sanders.
What?
We've
talked about both. Oh, not how we've mentioned already global warming and Bernie Sanders. This is
the political podcast.
This is such a political podcast.
It actually doesn't fall under what's on our.
It doesn't fall under anything that's on our thing.
It actually
our
does.
Poster.
We on our poster we say and anything else that we can think of. And I was thinking about politics. So
okay. Well, I mean, if then that's a catch-all. That's kind of a cop-out if you think about it. That's just literally like here's some stuff, and then I said a cop-out. It's a cop-out, Joe. What? You're so tired. You look. How's your real quick? How's your week been? Your week seems like it's been a little hectic.
I love the hustle. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love the grind.
I've been busy, but it's like an off-kilter busy sort of a thing. And I'm what? You think that just because I don't what you want? I'm gonna get real close to the mic right now because I'm taking this real seriously, Joe. You think because I don't play a sport or I'm not in 17 different science courses that I can't have a difficult week,
Joe,
huh?
Come on, don't you know athletes are the superior
Joe,
human
do you know what my car smells like right now?
Okay, moving on.
Never gonna explain that on this show ever. Oh, real quick, the shout out I wanted to do before.
Does it still smell bad?
We're not getting into this right now.
We'll talk about it.
Talk about it after the show.
No, in the middle of the
show when no one can hear us.
Song.
Or I'll turn on the talk over and like put us real quiet, and then if you listen to it real carefully, you can hear everything. No, so real quick before you freaking fuck me again. I didn't finish the word. It's fine. Toby in the MCU. Real quick, if you have access to who am I talking about? You're listening to this on a device. Go into a new tab on your device, go into YouTube and search up the channel Toby in the MCU and watch all of the videos. It's not a lot. It's like 20 to 30 videos, which sounds like a lot, but they're like less than a minute long each of them. And they are wonderful. I love it. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
And it's
Toby
great.
in the MCU, it's beautiful.
It's great because we're giving back to our supporters.
We're giving back to
our number one, our top Patreon supporter.
Our top patron, that's what it is. He's a patron.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I misspoke.
Yes.
Anyway, sometimes his directing gigs, hasn't really come out with a new Studio Ghibli movie, but I will say he needs to make the money.
He does need to make that money so he can then give back to us.
So he's starting to appear in the MCU.
He's starting to appear in the MCU.
And he has a nice collection of all his appearances in the MCU. He made this just for everybody to see. Mm-hmm. And he posted it on YouTube, and I think it's so nice.
It's so wonderful. I love it. I'm a very big fan of it. This episode of Cup and Joe and Joe is brought to you by the YouTube channel Toby in the MCU. Go check it out. Go support it. It's beautiful. I love every second of it. All right. Moving on to more comic booky stuff. So we had another Tales from the Dark Multiverse book come out this week. Joe, you want to tell us which comic that was?
Blackest Night.
Yes, exactly. Tales from the Dark Multiverse, Blackest Night. So you haven't read anything Green Lantern. Have you seen anything about with Green Lantern, like the movie or like the animated series on Cartoon Network or anything like that? Are you familiar with it at all?
I remember there was this one Ryan Reynolds movie.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Really?
I liked it.
Would you recommend? Did you actually like it? No? Okay.
I thought it was ridiculous.
Oh, okay.
I was like, what is this?
Mm-hmm. I liked it when I first saw it. I saw it in, much how I saw most of my movies when I was younger, because my mom works at the library, so she would just bring home movies for me. So Green Lantern was one of the movies that she had brought home for me. This was before I got into comics. This was like in middle school, whenever the heck it came out. And I remember watching it, and I had fun with it. At that age, I didn't really you don't think too much about it. You're just like, oh, this is good.
You thought Bridge to Terabithia was the best movie ever.
Yeah, exactly. I thought Bridge to Terabithia was the best movie ever. Good God. But I knew that I didn't like Avatar: The Last Airbender. I didn't think it was like a horrendous movie, but I knew deep down in my soul when I finished that movie, I got up from the theater and I was like, I didn't like that.
You know what other movie I knew right away that I didn't like?
Which movie?
Dragon Ball Evolution.
Did you see that in theaters?
I saw it in theaters with a group of friends for a birthday party, and we booed once it was over. It was like 4 of us who were obsessed with Dragon Ball Z.
When did that come out?
And
what
literally, Piccolo, he's in a lamp. He's literally a goddamn genie.
I've seen bits and pieces of the movie since then on FX. I've never watched it all the way through. When did this come out? Where's the 2009? Wow. This came out in the same year that Avatar by James Cameron came out in. Mm-hmm. That's incredible.
It's so bad.
That's insanity right there. I can't believe that's a thing.
I just remember I was so angry. I'm like, my mom's like, how was it? I'm like, Piccolo came out of a lamp.
Hey, sweetie, how was it? Piccolo came out of a lamp.
My mom said,
Okay there, little Timmy. We're gonna have to calm you down there now.
Timmy, put the ball down.
Timmy, put down the knife. Where did you get that? That's not even one of our knives. Is that the neighbor's knife? Timmy, how'd you get the neighbor's knife?
Timmy, where are the neighbors?
Timmy, where are the neighbors? Dragon Ball Evolution! Timmy, Fred, Timmy's on a rampage again. Get the stick. All right, honey, I'm getting the stick. Fred's got the Be Good stick for Timmy. Okay. So Blackest Night. back into everything that we were talking about beforehand. So I saw Green Lantern the movie, and you thought it was bad when you first saw it, right?
I was just like, I wasn't a big fan of Green Lantern. I'm like,
right.
I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, why the hell does he need a goddamn lamp?
Why does he need a lamp? Yeah, exactly. I remember seeing it and thinking like, it's not bad. Like I thought it was kind of cool, but also I didn't really I didn't think too much about it. It was like it was just that and then done. Unlike an Iron Man or something like that I saw when I was younger, and I was like, ooh, this stuck with me. And even like the first Captain America movie, like those first two movies really like they hit me, and I was like, ooh, and I thought about them after seeing them and stuff like that. Green Lantern I didn't, and then I got into reading comics, and I got into
went downhill.
That's when it all went downhill. My life's never been the same. No, honestly, the Green Lantern comics, because I got into it at the very end of the Jeff Johns run of Green Lantern, which he started back in like the early 2000s, I think, with Green Lantern Rebirth. And then he like had this whole big saga that went up into and after the new. If anyone could if we could hear that later on, that's gonna be hilarious. I'm just gonna skip right on past what you just did. But so John, he started in the early 2000s and he wrote all the way up until like the mid. Or like the early 2010s, I think like 2013, 2014 was when he ended his tenure on the Green Lantern book. But so I got into like the very tail end of that, and I enjoyed it. Like that Jeff Johns' run of Green Lantern, I think, is my favorite run of comics of all time.
Damn.
It is. I love it. In Green Lantern, Hal Jordan Green Lantern to be precise, because if you didn't know, there's a lot of Green Lanterns, especially Green Lanterns from Earth. But his run of Green Lantern is my favorite comic run of all time. I would have said Scott Snyder's run on Batman would be up there, but there's a lot of wonky, weird stuff, and the art sometimes swings drastically to one end or the other. But Johns was consistent with his quality and his storytelling, and also the artists were consistent. And if you know anything about me, I love consistent artwork. It is. Oh, it's so good. I love it. It really helps keep the whole narrative cohesive and all that. But so the pinnacle of Johns' run, or one of the biggest climaxes in Johns' run was the big event called Blackest Night. And it's essentially, to distill it down, it's a zombie book where the Green Lantern Corps is one corps, and then after... Stop hitting the mic.
You did it too.
I know, I'm sorry. After... are you done?
Oh, wow. I'm so
wow,
sorry.
How does this work? Look at that.
I'm so sorry. Carry on.
We need to start actually recording visually these things. But oh, I was talking about the Lantern. I was giving you a brief history. It's not very brief, but so Johns, he came on to Green Lantern. He had Green Lantern Rebirth, and then he gave you a prophecy, and it's it turns out in Johns' run there's going to be more than just the Green Lanterns. You got the Yellow Lanterns, the Red Lanterns, the Orange Lanterns, the Blue Lanterns, the Indigo Lanterns, the Violet Lanterns. Actually, no, the Star Sapphires is what they're called. But you got all those things. So you have the entire Roy G. Biv scale. And then at the end of introducing all those things, he introduces the Black Lanterns, which is green is will, yellow is fear, so on and so forth. They're all the colors are connected to an emotion. Black is death. So there is a character that comes in called William Hand, and he becomes the avatar for the Black Lanterns. It's a really cool panel in the beginning of Blackest Night where it's just he recites his oath, and then he's by my black hand the dead shall rise, and then he vomits up all these Black Lantern rings. and the rings go seeking out all the dead heroes in the DC universe and villains and stuff like that, and it revives them. But they're now like corrupted zombie versions of themselves with Black Lantern rings. And so then you have all the heroes, all the heroes that are currently around trying to fight off all these Black Lanterns. But it's not just the Black Lanterns they have to fight off. They constantly have to fight off the Black Lantern rings as well, because if they have any emotion at all, the Black Lantern rings will seek them out and be like, hey, you have emotion, join the Black Lantern Corps and die. And you're like, what? Hold on a minute, I didn't consent to this. Rings don't care about that. So it's a fantastic story. It's wonderful. It had major ramifications for DC, like going forward. It was like a soft reboot kind of a thing. Like, it wasn't like it wasn't like a Flashpoint, but it was like the thing right before Flashpoint where they rebooted it because, at the end, the good guys win, and because the White Lanterns are introduced, which are life, so like some of the heroes that were dead and like Black Lanterns are then given White Lantern rings and revived, and some of them aren't. It was kind of like a way for DC to clean house and just be like, hey, so we're going to resurrect these heroes, but keep these ones dead because they never really sold too well, and we'll kill off whoever else we want to in this event as well, and they'll just stay dead. So that was like their cleaning house sort of thing. So in this latest Tale from the Dark Multiverse, it is obviously like all the other ones, a what if story, but this one is if the heroes there's like a pinnacle moment where the first White Lantern is Sinestro, and he has a choice to either share his power with other people so they can defeat the White Lanterns, or try and keep it all for himself, because Sinestro is kind of like he's a narcissistic kind of
a-hole.
Yeah, a narcissistic a-hole, and he believes most of the time that he is right, and that he's the only one capable of doing what should be done. So in the original story, he realizes he realizes his faults, and he's just like, I should give everyone else the power because I need everyone I can to help me defeat the Black Lanterns. And so in the Dark Tales from the Multiverse, that choice is made in a different way, where he keeps the power for himself. But in doing so, everyone else dies, and he alone is not powerful enough to stop the Black Lanterns. So that's the beginning of the book. It gives you a quick recap on events of Blackest Night so far, and then up to that point, and then that new decision is made, and all the ramifications from that happen. And then we pick up 19 days later, I believe. It's about 19 days later. And Earth is effed, man. Earth is effed in the A, and there ain't no way to fix it. There are just Black Lanterns running rampant everywhere. What?
I'll tell you.
You tell me later.
They're spreading like that.
Okay, stop. No. Okay.
Carry on.
We'll carry on. But yes, the Black Lanterns have taken over Earth.
They have spread
to the far corners of Earth, and as we find out later on in the book, the far corners of the universe, because the Lantern rings, obviously, Green Lantern's like a space police corps sort of a thing. So the Lantern rings can
space police.
Yeah, they're space cops. That's literally one of the things that they call them, that people have called them. They're just space cops. That's what a Green Lantern is. And the Black Lantern rings have, zoomed across the entire galaxy, and they're finding out, they're finding all these other, dead people and, heroes and villains and stuff, and resurrecting them. And again, anyone with emotion, they're just taking control of them. So the Black Lanterns are they're spreading exponentially. It's just like they just keep becoming Black Lanterns. And so we pick up with the character Dove, who, as we come to find out, has the light of creation inside of her, which is why she isn't able to be corrupted by the Black Lantern ring. And she's picked up by Lobo, who has been hired by someone to take her to a certain planet in the galaxy. And then on their travels on Earth, they are met by Sinestro, who is now a Limbo Lantern.
There we go. I was about to say, better mention Limbo Lantern.
I'm mentioning Limbo Lantern,
okay.
Which means that because Sinestro, in the 19 days since he made that fateful choice, he has realized his mistakes, and he was just like, what kind of a person am I? And you don't see much of it, but you see a couple of panels where he's sat alone, and then he holds the ring up to his head, and anyone that knows what the ring can do, the ring can obviously produce a major energy blast. And so you're it's essentially akin to him holding a gun to his own temple. So he's about to commit suicide. You don't see him do it, but then when you find him, he is now wearing both a White Lantern ring and a Black Lantern ring, and his body is split down the middle between life and death. So he is now both life and death, which is why they call him the Limbo Lantern, because he's just like he's in limbo right now. And so you follow. He joins up with I can't remember his name. Lobo. That because it's Limbo and Lobo are gonna throw me off in this entire episode. So the Limbo Lantern, I'm just gonna call him Sinestro. I don't care. Sinestro meets up with Lobo and Dove, and they all, they go on their happy trails
They're
journey.
like, what's up, homies?
Yeah, exactly. Well, not exactly. Lobo actually really hates Sinestro because Lobo is like a wild anarchist, and Sinestro is like a dictator, so he wants nothing but order and strict rule following. And Lobo is like, dude, I'm the kid in the back of the room that's like spitting spitballs at the teacher and like saying lewd things every time like there's a pause. Like that's who Lobo is. He's just that kind of guy. So obviously they don't mesh very well. And Dove is just this like pure of heart woman who's just pure is the best way I can describe her. That's really it. She's a hero. She's pure. She's innocent. Like and she's got the light of creation that can apparently be channeled through her. So. Not that that's going to ever come up in the rest of the book, huh?
Not
Foreshadowing.
at all.
Yeah. But so they all go off to a different planet. I can't remember the name of it. It's like a weird, like, it's got like dashes and dots and stuff like that in the name of the place that they go to. It's weird. But they meet up there and they find out that the person that they're dropping Dove off to is Mr. Miracle, who is a character from the pantheon of the new gods, as they're called, which is like Darkseid from Apocalypse and all that, and Big Barda and Granny Goodness and all those characters. And as we come to find out, Scott Free is Mr. Miracle, so he's Scott as well. Scott has been tracked to that planet, that meetup point, by all of his people, including his wife, Big Barda, who are now all Black Lanterns. And he thinks the way that to save everyone is to go to the Source Wall, which in DC is like the wall that's like the boundary of the universe, sort of a thing. It's a weird thing to like try and think up, like to try and like rationalize in your head.
Conceptualize.
Yeah, exactly. If you go, like they draw it all the time. It's a big thing in DC. And if you go to it, it's like you're in space and it's just a wall of like massive figures that
Gods.
that have just taken up. Yeah, I think it's like gods and explorers from like very early on in the DC universe that have just become part of the Source Wall, sort of a thing. So on the other end of it is apparently like just the power of creation, and it's just like Scott's plan is to channel the power of creation through Dove, and then like revive everyone in the universe, sort of a thing.
Seems legit to me.
Yeah, there will be no major ramifications for this whatsoever. Black Lanterns track them down, they find them, and then all of a sudden they're just like, hey, what's up? Also, Darkseid is now the host for Necron, which Necron is like the entity of the Black Lanterns. I don't want to get too much into that because that's just...
You're all going to be tested on this next week.
Yeah, I realize I'm just spewing. So I'm just going through the book, but that's really because I just want to say
everybody has their Blackest Night background. It's
yeah,
fine.
exactly. Everyone has to.
It's a common curriculum in grade school.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to spew through all this, so then we can just like talk more so about it because we have differing opinions when it comes to this book. But we'll get to that in a second. So Darkseid. He comes along, he's a Black Lantern, and he's just like, hey, so that thing you're going to try and do, so you're going to do it, and it's going to basically kill everyone and reboot the universe. And Scott's like, wait, it's going to kill my wife? And Darkseid's like, yup, you son of a bitch, you're an idiot. And Mr. Miracle is just like, oh, wait, I can't do this. I can't live without my wife. And so he, like, breaks the device that he was going to use to help Dove channel the power or whatever. And
he doesn't just break the device.
What does he do? I can't remember.
He snacks Dove's neck.
Oh, that's right.
That
I completely
was the
forgot.
He literally goes.
That's right. Dude, I completely forgot. Thank God you reminded me.
I'm like, what?
Because I remember what happens afterwards with Lobo, and I was like, how did they get there again? Right. Okay. Yeah. So to prevent that from happening, he snaps Dove's neck. This perfect, pure being, and that sets Lobo off like dynamite. Because during the course of the book, he kind of like, you can see that he kind of grows feelings for Dove because she is someone so pure and innocent, and he's not.
And I don't even think it's like a romantic.
No, it's not. I think he just cares for her because
like a
she
protective,
is so
almost
innocent.
like maybe like a little sister. Or
yeah, exactly.
Like
that sort of a thing. Yeah, that'd be weird if Lobo and Dove got together.
I just think, yeah. Okay, carry on.
Yeah, but
okay.
so Mr. Miracle snaps your neck. Lobo goes off. He's like, "Oh, I'm about to murder you into the ground, and we're in space. So that's going to be a long way down, or up, or sideways, or diagonally. There is no direction in space. That's going to be a long way, though." And so he goes off. Does he kill Mr. Miracle? Lobo? I can't remember if he kills Mr. Miracle. Who kills Mr. Miracle? I feel like someone does.
Think about it.
Is it Darkseid? No. Who does it? I don't remember, Joe. This is giving away how I feel about the book already. Who does it? Who done it?
I think Lobo did it.
Does Lobo do it?
I'm actually not sure, but
I feel like Lobo used his big old fish hook and just like clawed him. Oh yeah, I think he like right through his back or something like that. Oh man, that was Darkseid. I can't remember. I don't know.
He did.
Scott-free dies. All right, that's all that matters. Scott-free is dead because he snapped Dove's neck. And then Lobo is like goes charging up to Darkseid, and then Darkseid's like, you're an insect, and blasts him with his Omega beams. And then Lobo is like eviscerated, except for his blood, which is important because we'll come back to that later. So Sinestro is currently trying to fight off all the Black Lanterns. He's kind of like succumbing, but then he comes to and he's like, no, I'm more powerful than I thought I was, sort of a thing. And he's like, I know that I screwed up. I know that I messed up. But I believe in myself. And, with that power, I'm going to, try and set things right. And like while he's fighting the Black Lanterns, you find out Lobo can regenerate himself from a single cell, kind of like Cell from Dragon Ball. Bringing this full circle. We're talking about Dragon Ball. We're incorporating it into everything. Look at that. I was thinking about everything, Joe. I brought it all up for a reason. I knew you were going to mention Dragon Ball.
It's a master plan.
It's a master plan. But so he regenerates many bodies of himself from all the different blood cells that he had. So you have an army of naked Lobos fighting in space with Black Lanterns, and Sinestro trying his best to fight them off too. And he's like, all right, I'm going to do what Mr. Miracle and Dove couldn't. And he channels the power of creation into Lobo, which then resets the entire universe, putting everything back to like amoeba stage. So everything's single-celled. But because light of creation is so potent now in the universe, everything is evolving at a rapid pace. So things start like evolving into like fish, and then simple tetrapod land animals.
Tiktaalik.
Tiktaalik. And then apes and things akin to like Neanderthals and stuff like that.
Homo habilis.
Exactly. All those different versions of humans before Homo sapien and all that sort of stuff. But there is one cool thing that I like about it, and that's the fact that because Sinestro used Lobo as the
big mistake.
Well, because he used Sinestro as like the blueprint essentially to restart the universe. All the creatures are like super aggressive like he was, and they all have red eyes and kind of like the same like black star or black diamond pattern around their eyes, which I thought was a kind of a cool. It's an interesting thing to do.
I like it because, it makes sense.
It's cool because then you essentially have a god like Lobo becomes a god.
Yes.
Which is really weird to think about. He's not around anymore, like he's dead, but his essence is within every single new creature now, which is insanity. Like that, think about it. That universe, that part of the multiverse is just all spawns of Lobo. That's incredible. And then of course the Limbo Lantern, Sinestro he's the only one. Yeah, he's the only one left over from the universe. Yeah, he messed up twice because he's like, I'm all alone. And so he's currently trying to claw out of his universe. He's trying to break into another universe sort of thing. And our good friend, Tempest Fuganut. Yes! I'm so glad we both knew exactly what to do in that moment. Our good buddy, our good old pal, Tempest Fuganut, is there on the other side watching all this happen. And he's just like, yet another universe that couldn't be saved, even though it was technically saved. It's just this asshole who's kind of like, no, I want things to go back to the way they were.
And he's like, the Limbo Lantern's like about to touch him. He's like, don't touch me.
Yeah, he's like, you can see him. He like, that's the sad part too, because Sinestro's like, no, please let me in. I don't want to be here. I don't want it. And then Tempest is just like on the other side, like, ugh. No, he's like doing like the slow roll up of the window, like when he's in a car and it's just like someone's like coming to him. He's like, that's gonna be a nope, and then he like drives away.
Tempest don't mess around.
Yeah, no, Tempest. Well, Tempest also isn't supposed to like interfere with anything. So,
he's just an overseer.
Yeah, exactly. He's like he's essentially a Watcher copy from the Marvel universe, where he's like, I can only watch, never interact, even though the Watcher interacts with crap all the time in the Marvel universe. But that's
good old continuity.
Yeah, exactly. That's Marvel. But yeah, so that's that's the end of it. So, how did you enjoy the book now that I've just speed run through all this crap?
I think we should talk about that after our second song.
Our second song?
Yes. Break it up.
All right. We're going to break it up. Break it up. So this next song is... Say it, because I don't know who the artist and what the song is. Which one is it?
The next song is Lump Sum by Bon Iver.
Yep. All right. All right, real quick. That wasn't my fault. The computer hiccuped. I blame that completely on the technology. All right, Lump Sum by Bon Iver. Here you go. Take a listen. Alrighty, and that was Lump Sum
by
Bon Appetit.
Bon
Ivy?
Iver.
Iver. Bon Iver. That is such a French sounding name.
Not even his name's Justin Vernon.
Wunderbar. Why did I go with I don't know what's happening. All right. Oh, that was a nice chill song.
It's a great song.
Yeah. See, now I'm a little more chilled out now. I'm gonna
that,
try and match
that
my
laugh
energy.
I just did?
Yeah.
Reminds me of the Paul laugh.
It does remind me of the Paul laugh. Oh my god.
Mark does that the best.
Mark does do the Paul laugh the best. That is true. We gotta get. We'll fly Mark out from the Midwest and get him to come on this show. And by we'll fly him out, I mean we'll ask him desperately to buy a ticket in these last couple of weeks that we'll be here.
Yep, that's about right.
Yeah. All right. So on to our thoughts. Yeah, exactly.
My thoughts.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on this latest Tales from the Dark Multiverse?
So having slept on it,
Right.
out of the 3 that are out right now, it's my least favorite.
Least favorite? Okay.
Okay, I think so. But in comparison to you, I don't think it's bad. I enjoyed it.
Right.
Reading it. Like, there's a lot of stuff where I was like, oh, I really like that. I really like this.
Uh-huh.
I think the only reason I didn't enjoy it as much is because I was confused a lot of times because I just didn't have the background. I'm like, who are these people?
Right.
I'm like, what's a lobo?
What's a lobo?
Is that a lobotomy?
No.
Anyway. So I was like, okay, I don't really know what's going on here, but I like the core story. I thought there was a good emotional connections throughout it, and some good emotional moments. I think the art was nice. I don't know. I enjoyed it. It's one of those things where I'm like, do I give a positive or negative review? I would give it a positive review. But is it a 10? No. Or is it a... oh my goodness. Why am I forgetting it? Batman.
What are you talking about?
The name the Batman one.
The name of the Batman one? Nightfall?
Fudge, how did I forget that?
What?
It's not a Nightfall.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
I'm trying to say...
a bad Batman thing?
No. I'm trying to say that, if I were to rate Blackest Night...
Right.
If I would give it... Okay, I have to think. Positive or negative review?
Okay.
I'd give it a positive review.
Right.
But it's not a Nightfall positive review. It's like a... It's positive.
It's positive. What about Death of Superman?
Death of Superman is pretty positive.
It's like, does it go Death of Superman, Nightfall, Blackest Night for you?
No, Nightfall.
Nightfall's your number 1 still?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
I love Bat Body Batman.
Bat Body Batman. Yeah, so real quick, the current lineup of our Dark Multiverse characters is Bat Body Batman, Lois the Eradicator, and the Limbo Lantern, Sinestro the Limbo Lantern.
Make a hell of a boy band.
It would make it. Well, I mean, Lois wouldn't.
Don't, Joe. 2019, man.
I can never, until I can physically ask her, much like we can feel Gordon's pulse through the page, until I can ask them, I'll use the third party, until I can ask them, I won't assume, okay? I'm sorry. They could make a boy band. I don't know what's going on in Lois' personal life, all right? I don't know. I'll just leave it at that.
That's my thoughts on the story.
Right, yeah.
Also, there is, I wanted to point this out to you. I forgot about it. But there's one scene, there's one action shot in the actual story that I really like, where Lobo, when he's initially fighting off the zombies, he gets the hook, and the person jumped over him, and he got the hook, and it slides and
oh, that was Starfire.
Yeah, and all the guts came out. I loved it.
I thought that was disgusting, especially the art in this book. It relies very heavily on very thick black lines, and the colorist in this book is very good at showing the Black Lanterns being really decayed and disgusting looking. So when those intestines fell out, I was like, oh, that's...
I loved it. I was like, yes.
It was very good.
I almost missed it actually the first time. I did a double take, and I was like, wait a minute, what?
I'm pretty sure it was a massive panel, though. I thought it was a pretty big
panel. No, I was
panel.
confused how it happened.
Oh, okay.
I was like, how did... And then I think the actual, you see the hook get attached in
you see the hook
top
get attached.
right corner near the seam. I almost missed it.
Okay, yeah. So you're like, how did that? Oh, yeah.
All right, now your thoughts.
I didn't dislike it, but I definitely don't like
negative
it strongly.
Nancy.
I thought it's the weakest of all these books so far, especially because I'm a very big. I really like character connections and character-driven storytelling, stuff like that. And while we got some of that, we didn't get anything very, very deep or very big for it. When it comes to the big decisions, even if we were following Sinestro immediately after his horrible decision, I feel you know what? I think this book would have worked way better as following immediately, like, or picking up immediately at the decision, and the first page being like his decision to keep the White Lantern power, and then watching all the lanterns and his allies watch all the lanterns and allies fall at the hand of the Black Lanterns, and then have like the last panel. Oh, that's what it should have been. It should have been the last panel be that panel where he's about to like commit suicide, and then leave the reveal of him as a Limbo Lantern for the upcoming crisis. How insane would that have been?
DC, hire this man.
DC, I'll drop out of school for you. I swear. I can come up with the cool ideas. I swear. But like that's
Elon
the thing.
Musk dropped out of school. I mean.
Exactly. I don't think my parents would be very happy about that. But like to me, that would be so much more interesting to watch, because in this book, it's just in like a page you get like them telling you all that stuff, where it's like, yep, so he made the wrong decision. Everyone died. He attempted to commit suicide, and then you find out a page later it didn't work, and he's the Limbo Lantern.
Now he's like, black and white.
Yeah, now it's black and white.
Like the Juice WRLD song.
Exactly. But so I was just like, that's like, it's not very interesting. That and the fact, so Dove and Lobo, they are good characters. Like Lobo has his time to shine every once in a while, but he's not a three-dimensional character, I would say. What? Yes, you in the front.
Oh my goodness, why am I forgetting the name now?
Lobo?
Who's the superhero with he's all red? Hellboy. Lobo reminds me of Hellboy.
Reminds you of Hellboy?
Yes.
Interesting. Have you actually... You've seen the Hellboy movie, right? Yes. Like, we've seen that. Yeah, I think
the
Hellboy...
new one.
Not the new one, no. I've seen the one with Ron Perlman. I haven't seen Golden Army. I still need to see that one.
Golden Army's the best.
Yeah, that's what everyone tells me. I need to see that one. So Hellboy has more character depth and like development, obviously because he's like the main character of his own title, and he's been going on for years at this point. I don't remember when the first Hellboy came out. Hellboy debut. I spelled debut wrong, but that's fine. When did Hellboy first come out? First appeared in San Diego Comic-Con Comics #2 of August in 1993. Yeah, so this character is over 20 years old. So he's been around for a while. He's had plenty of time to be developed. Lobo has also been around for a while, but he's never really been... He's been in books before, but I don't think he's gotten too much character development before. So having him in this book be the way he is, I think he was more of just like an interesting plot device, which is cool, but it's only like a surface level kind of a cool thing. And then like if you kind of like look any deeper, there's not too much to go off of there. And then Dove, same thing, where she's more of like a Teen Titans character, like associated with like the younger heroes and sidekicks and stuff like that. So I've never actually read a piece of media with Dove in it before. I've only ever seen Dove portrayed in the
Great Titans TV show.
The wonderful Titans TV show.
Season 2, baby!
I have not seen Season 2. I'm not going to watch Season 2. I only watched Season 1.
Season 3, baby!
Stop. I only watched Season 1 because it was available on Netflix in Ireland, and I had nothing better to do. And like some of my downtime, I was like, well, I can watch this. I watched Voltron, Legendary or Defenders of the Earth, and Titans, and Voltron was by far superior in like every way. That's a good show. If you have the chance to go through it all, I recommend doing it. But yeah, so I didn't know that much about Dove, but I did a little bit of research, and it turns out she does have this, like in the original Blackest Night story too, she has this light of creation thing which helps prevent her from being overtaken by the Black Lantern ring. So that's got precedence. That's been around before. But again, it's like the woman in refrigerator trope. Do you know what that is? Okay, so women in the refrigerator trope, it was actually born out of a Green Lantern comic where it's essentially the idea that you have a female character only to be killed off and motivate the male protagonist, whatever thing. Yeah, exactly. The instance of this was literally, it was a Green Lantern comic when Kyle Rayner was the Green Lantern. It was in the 90s, and his girlfriend at the time was killed by a villain and then literally stuffed into his refrigerator. So when he came home and opened his fridge, he found her corpse in his fridge, which motivated him to then go fight off the villain or whatever.
Holy crap, that's actually really effed up.
It is.
Holy crap.
Since then, there's been like the what it's called is women in refrigerator, where it's like the idea of just making a female character to have them killed off to motivate the male protagonist, that sort of thing.
Goddamn misogyny.
And refrigerators. Yeah, so if I search this up, yep, here's the, if I go to, no one else is going to be able to see this, but here, you can't see that. Just take a goosey gander, just like at the page real quick. This one says Mothra. Yeah, but so that's literally all it is. It's you don't actually see the full body.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wimps. Show me the good stuff.
Oh my god.
What?
Yeah, that's what this is. Surprise for you in the fridge. Love A. I think A is like the initial of his girlfriend at the time. Alex, that's her name. Yeah. Alex, you here? Alex. And then he finds the note and he's like, oh, hey, cool. And then he goes, he opens the refrigerator and it's just like, what? Because there's a dead woman or his dead girlfriend in his refrigerator, which is, it's horrible. And it's also started like this, not, I guess, movement or whatever, or just like this like realization of what's been going on sort of thing. So some not good stuff going on. But I feel like Dove's inclusion in this book is literally just a women in the refrigerator thing because she's like, hey, I'm here. And then Lobo's like, I'm going to pick you up. And she's like, okay. And she goes. And then they get there and she's willing to help because, of course, she is. And then she's just immediately killed off by Mr. Miracle. And that just motivates Lobo to go into action. And I'm just like, there was nothing like, even I understand that Lobo liked her or like grew feelings for her because she was such an innocent and like pure character.
And he was like, what was it? I've slaughtered my home planet and all this stuff.
Yeah, Lobo's done a lot. He's a very bad boy.
And he was like, it was nice to see something pure for once.
Yeah, exactly. Something so pure and then just ripped away from him in the hands of Mr. Miracle. But even then, but they never actually show, because the book has so much going, like it has so much going on, but yet so little underneath any of it. Because it needs to, number one, it needs to establish Blackest Night, and then it needs to go into what happened, and then it needs to establish why Lobo is there, and then what's going on with Dove, and then what happened with Sinestro, and then needs to have them actually travel to Scott, and then needs to have them establish Scott and Scott's plan, or Mr. Miracle, and they need to have them establish Mr. Miracle's plan, and they need to have them then travel to the Source Wall, and they need to have everything there happen, which is like there's so much just bouncing on that there's no time for any of this character development stuff that I really would love to see. Like I feel like this could have, like, if they didn't do my idea in the beginning, which was the whole, which it would be great, I love it. This would have worked far better as like a 4-issue miniseries sort of a thing, where it was like maybe establishing stuff in issue 1, traveling to Mr. Miracle in issue 2, talking and traveling with Mr. Miracle in issue 3, and then the final issue being the whole like final battle with all the Black Lanterns and resetting the universe and all that. Like that would have worked way better, I think. But the fact was there was just too much, and they couldn't develop anyone's character arcs. And so while I understand that why Lobo did it, I think it was poorly done, and also it just didn't it didn't get established enough. It was just poor in execution, I guess. The ideas were there, execution was not.
I agree.
Wonderful. Riveting conversations we have here on the Cup of Joe with Joe and
You
Joe
have
podcast.
Convinced me.
Oh, really? Interesting. Was it just my pitch in the beginning that you were like, wow, that would have been way better?
I don't know. I think my initial reaction while reading it, I was like, hey, I'm excited to read this. I read it. I'm like, okay, that was fine. But you take a step, I don't know. Taking a step back, or would it be taking a step in? I'm not sure. You look at it deeper and look
In
at
a
the
different
detail.
way, let's
Yes.
say.
And it's, it has its flaws.
Yeah, it has its flaws. Again, it's not a bad book. The ideas in it are really cool. I just think they could have done, I think I might also be carrying some biases just from the Blackest Night story in general, because that's such a good story. And of course, I knew it was going to be different, but also because that story has so much like character connections and stuff like that. Because again, the linchpin of the Green Lantern side of the DC universe is its emotions. So you have so much going on in there because that's literally what they're built off of. So the fact that this had such little really emotional weight kind of behind it, it just really, it hit me it didn't hit me, I guess is what I would say. And I was very much like, man, I wish there was, more, but again, not bad. Just like I'd say this is like a 5 out of 10 for me on the scales right now. And the art as well was like fine. I thought it was, yeah, fine. I guess is the optimal word I have for it. I was gonna go elsewhere, but I was like, nah, just fine is just the way it is because it's not bad. But it's just baseline for me. I'm just like, because I'm not a very big fan of like the real thick black ink strokes and stuff like that. And the fact that everything is inked the same way, so it's very hard to distinguish between foreground and background, which really irks me. Because it just looks like everything is literally just flattened on a 2-dimensional plane. There's no depth in each panel. Yeah, I don't know if you understand that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Good. You were making a face, and I was like,
calculus.
right. Of course, you take calculus. I'm sorry. I forgot how learned you were in the ways of depth. But yeah, so the art was fine. But this definitely sits at the bottom right now as far as like all the Tales from the Dark Multiverse stuff goes. And then comes for me Nightfall. I thought that art was good. I thought the story was pretty good too. And then at the top, I have Death of Superman because I really, there's something about it that because the art, number one, I love the art in that book, and the story, because you're just following one person and their kind of like descent, and then there's that wonderful character moment between Lois and Clark, I'm like, why are they afraid of you? And you're just like, oh my god, and she loses him again. There's just so much in Death of Superman that I really, really, really love. So yeah, that's my ranking. I go Death of Superman to Nightfall to then Blackest Night, which is it's not how I thought it would go. It's like I'm a little like, man, I thought Blackest Night would be really good, but it's a cool, it's a decent story. I still have the original Blackest Night, which I love with all my heart. And yeah, I guess that's about all I had to say about that. Any closing remarks on Blackest Night?
Like I said, I enjoyed it. Like I wasn't reading it being like, what the heck is this? You know what I mean? Like I read it and enjoyed it.
Right.
I thought it was pretty good, an interesting idea, but I do agree with you that it could have been executed a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was very
Page 1,
strange.
Panel 1. We open on just a full page spread of Sinestro currently being imbued with the power of the White Lanterns.
I thought
he
you were
then
gonna say
turns
butt naked, but
but no, because the lantern rings give them their uniforms, so they wouldn't be butt naked.
And you had to use imbued again, didn't you?
Yes, I did. It's such a comic book term, all right? He's imbued. So page 1, full page spread, just one page, full page spread of Sinestro being imbued. I mean, his arms might be spread like a Christ pose sort of thing. That would be some, like, very no, what's when it's used all the time? No, it's used all the time. Cliche. There we go. That'd be a very cliche pose, especially with like all the Superman stuff always being in like the Christ position or whatever. But he's in that. Next page, panel 1. It's all the heroes looking very hopeful, like, oh my god, he's done it. And then panel 2, Sinestro looks over his shoulder at all the heroes, looks down in the next panel, looking down at his hand with the White Lantern ring, then glancing back over at the heroes. And then you do a quick, like a little zoom in on Hal, and you see Hal's face go from like a full smile to kind of like some worry. Shit. He's like, Sinestro? Like, there's no words spoken in these first 2 pages, and the first word spoken is just Hal going, Sinestro? And it's like ... afterwards. And then Sinestro turning away from them and just leaping into battle alone. And then the next 2 to 4 pages is just the heroes getting decimated. That's the opening. I've done it. I did it.
Well, Joe.
Yeah?
I think I know what you got to start drawing.
After I finish my friggin' Celestial Pioneer book that I've been working on for the last half a year, only 13 pages in, I got so much to do on that still. I still have like the 4 pages to do. It sounds like a little, but it's a lot. I gotta do. I have the next page laid out for that too. By the way, I gotta get on it. I gotta get on that.
Get down on it.
Get down on it. All right. Anything else you wanted to mention this week?
Support Arcadia men's soccer team at the Gene Lennox West Field tomorrow at 1 p.m. as we take on Keene University and kick their booties.
Kick them booties! All right. Yeah.
Also, support your local record store.
Ooh, is there something
And
coming
bakery.
up? And bakery. Are you just like plugging
Support
things now?
small shops.
Support small businesses, homegrown businesses, and Toby and the MCU. Support that too. There was. I'm just like, playing with the mic. There was
An idea
There was once an idea.
to bring together.
Remarkable people. I'm not gonna recite all of that. I don't actually have all that memorized. I should have all that. I could probably do it if I played along with it.
That's what I wanted to make the caption for the Tough Mudder photos of me, Jeremy, and Paul. It was, an idea to bring together a remarkable group.
A group of remarkable people. Yeah. Okay, that would be really funny. There was some stuff like in the gaming world. If you hit your mic one more time,
You just moved your mic.
I moved it consciously.
Who cares?
Okay. There was some stuff in the gaming world, like the latest Hideo Kojima game, Death Stranding, just came out.
And we can talk about that in a minute.
A minute?
Not even, Joe. God.
Not even. Should I just leave it for like the next week or whatever? Because I do want to. I mean, I don't know if
just
how
follow
much
Joe's blog.
I don't have a blog. Don't start just plugging random crap that I don't have. It's okay to plug small businesses because that could be anything. But me specifically, I don't have a small blog. That's just false
Yeah, he's got a
advertisement.
big blog.
Yeah, there we go. Now true advertisement. Oh, good God. Yeah, I want to talk about some Death Stranding stuff, but I'll say that for another time because we really went all. I literally did what the comic did. I spent the first beginning literally just explaining everything because there's so much to explain. But then you look at it and then there's nothing there. The opposite of Death Stranding, which I think would take both a very long time to explain and would also take a very long time to peel back the layers because there's a lot in that game.
I have a friend who got the special pre-order thing, and he got the BB unit.
Oh, he got the collector's edition with the BB unit? Dude, it looks creepy, but honestly, I kind of want it. Like, I'm very into it. I don't have a PS4. I'm
Not
hoping
yet, you don't.
Not yet. I'm hoping Santa brings me one for Christmas. I'm gonna be praying to Santa.
Would you really want a PS4 over a Switch?
Yes. I don't play. I have you guys for Smash, and that's the only game I play on Switch. I've never played a Zelda game. I don't play any Mario games anymore. Like I only played a couple of them on the DS. I don't need a Switch for anything. I don't have games that I play on Switch.
Yeah.
Like I want to get a PS4 because then I can finally play things like Death Stranding. I can play God of War.
You think you're cool because you play M-rated games?
I wanted to make a snarky comeback, but the fact that you said that with such a straight face really got to me. I was like, you really held that together. Yeah, no, but there are so many games that I want to play on the PS4, and I can't. It's taking me this long to really like think about getting one. But yeah, so hope like Christmas is right around the corner. Praise be to Santa Claus. Hopefully he can slide on down my chimney with a nice looking console.
After slaughtering Krampus.
After slaughtering Krampus, yeah, that's another great comic
Did you
that we'll
see
talk about one day.
Netflix has a show called Claws now?
It's a movie coming out.
I literally thought I was going to send it to you. I'm like, oh my goodness, is this the book? And then I watched the trailer. I'm like, this isn't the book.
That was my, oh my God. That was my exact reaction.
I'm like, if they make the book this is about to be so dark.
I was so crestfallen.
It's a kid's film.
It is, because I just read the Claws book by Grant Morrison. It's a comic by Boom Studios. It's like a Nordic superhero-esque retelling of Santa Claus.
Never thought I'd heard that sentence in my,
Neither did I.
life.
And it's incredible. It's amazing. And the art in that book, mwah, mwah, oh my God, it's on another level. That book, like Claws by Grant Morrison, like the original, I have the hardcover that I bought from New York that one time. I'd heard good stuff about it, and I was like, oh, let me buy the hardcover. It's all right here. I picked it up. I read it all. I'm like, oh, my God, this is incredible. And then I went on to YouTube, and on the Netflix trailers, because it was just recommended to me for whatever, because, oh, that's what it is. I was searching up, like, Claws discussion and stuff like that, because I was just seeing what else people had to say about it. And so Netflix recommended the trailer to me, and I'm like, there's no way.
Yeah.
There's no effing way. And I click on it, and then immediately the animation started playing, and I was like,
this is not it.
no!
I was gonna send it to you and be like, oh my goodness, but then I watched it. I'm like, no.
No, it's not. It's just a silly, fun-looking kids animated movie about a male guy in Santa Claus. That's it. Yeah, no. If at any time there is a movie or a TV series, it wouldn't be a TV series. It'd just be a movie.
A movie adaptation.
Yeah, a movie adaptation made of Claus. I am going to be on that immediately because it is so cool. Yeah, so after Santa Claus slaughters that there Krampus, he comes sledding in on his alien chariot pulled by massive wolves, electric guitar shredding in the background as lightning permeates the skies, and then comes down my chimney with a nice old PlayStation
Another
4.
big word.
I got them good vocabularistics, Joe.
You know John's a word?
Shut up. Your Philly slang ain't got nothing on my comic book lingo, all right? Got nothing.
All right.
But yeah, so like possibly next week we'll talk about some Death Stranding, some Hideo Kojima stuff, maybe some other PlayStation games or just games in general because I'm almost done with Ori. After 6 months of having that game, I finally gotten back into it and I'm like, all right, I'm at 90% right now. But I'm also at a part that I can't complete on my own and I'm too stubborn to look up a playthrough on YouTube. I'm going to just take hours to figure it out and probably break many pencils in the process. That's how I get my anger out with games.
And on that note,
as we've hyped ourselves up into oblivion, we're gonna leave. We're gonna leave you. We're gonna love you.
some Jackson Brown.
Yeah, some Jackson Brown. You heard a little tease of it earlier in the podcast because computer screwed up. It wasn't me.
Apple sucks.
These computers are Dell, but the computer.
But it's running iOS.
Yes, the computer is Apple. The monitors are Dell. So whatever. Yeah. Yes.
Cross-platform playability.
That's exactly what that is. All right. So once again, thank you all for listening to Cup of Joe with Joe and Joe, episode numero 8. If we play our cards right, we should manage to get to episode 10. That will more than likely be the finale of season 1 of Cup of Joe with Joe and Joe. We don't know if we'll have funding for season 2. That's kind of up in the air right now.
Yeah, we might. The board's probably not going to approve.
Not going to approve
We'll
it.
see.
But yeah, we'll keep you all updated on whenever anything like that comes along. Once again, this show is brought to you by the YouTube channel Toby and the MCU. Go check it out. Really, it's so worth a watch. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. It is everything that cinema should be and probably will be in the future. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And let's get out of here with some nice, lovely... Where's my mouse? There it is. Jackson Brown, Somebody's Baby. Enjoy, everyone. Have a good night. Mwah.
In her eyes, she's got to be somebody's baby.